I'm David Settle. We continue talking about this week's state golf championships, and the Friday and Saturday Class 2A championships will be in Douglas this year, although Lusk is the host school. They'll be playing at the Douglas Community Club, and I'm pleased to be joined by Lusk head coach Ed Fullmer. And Coach, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to just chat a little bit about this. First of all, I know hosting is never easy, and so I always want to ask coaches, how is that hosting for you, particularly when you're not on your home course, which is unique compared to 3A and 4A?
Yeah, it's been a challenge for sure. Just getting volunteers and help and all of that. Before I started teaching school and coaching, I ran the golf course with Torrington for a while, so I've got a pretty good background to draw on. But yeah, without all the helpers and volunteers and everybody that makes it possible, it would be an even bigger challenge.
Well, as I mentioned, you're in a unique situation where you're not on your home course. I know you guys played an event, a 2-day event in the 2A ranks earlier this fall, but what do you kind of get a sense of maybe what the Douglas Community Club will kind of present in terms of a challenge for these kids coming up Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be a good challenge for our kids. It's tested. I was thinking about that today. Every aspect of your game, you got to put it in play. You got to drive the ball well. It's very penal if you're too far offline. It's long enough to present some challenges to the kids. And then there's enough out of bounds, enough water hazard, and then big greens. What we get used to in 2A on a lot of these little 9-hole courses that have a lot of character are pretty small greens. And so that idea of having to control your speed, lag putt, hitting the green, sometimes it's always good, but sometimes work's not done yet. And so that'll be a challenge for the kids.
Yeah, a little more undulation sometimes, I think, in these greens than what maybe these kids are used to kind of back up your point. What does 2A look like this year from your perspective as a coach? I know you don't always get to see some of the teams from the western side of the state, not a lot of those teams to begin with, but what do you kind of look at when you see 2A girls and boys golf this year?
Yeah, it's pretty wide open. We've got a group of young on the boys side, boys that are really competitive. Um, you know, no one school seems to be loaded up with a couple really good players, but there's 5 or 6 of them that all can come away with a championship. And then the team part of it's really going to put a lot of stress again on the team aspect. We've got um, threes and fours and fives that are all going to have to be consistent, avoid some big holes, put together some decent numbers. I think Thermopolis probably has the most depth, but man, right when they play well is right there. Sundance is always good. Kimmer with the Benson kid to lead them is going to be there, and so it's going to be. Upton has some depth too. Going to be a dogfight, and then the girl side kind of similar. There's some couple standouts, but um, then it falls off in terms of the team aspect. And so there's going to have to be really good play from your second and third girl to kind of hold things together, what your one girl is posting out there.
I'm curious because you've seen one of kind of, as I look at it, favorites in Easton Lewis from Tongue River. Are the boys chasing him? And then I know you haven't seen Tayson Wagner, and I know she hasn't played a lot, but she finally played last week in that little triangular over in Lander. Is everybody kind of chasing those two, you think, Ed?
Yeah, I think Easton Lewis is right there, but I think so is Trevin Benson from Kimmer. They both were one shot back last year and tied for second. They're both drawing on that experience. Easton, set a school record, I guess, last Friday. Their coach told us with a 67 at Wright, and Wright's not an easy golf course. So they're definitely there. And then Taslin, yeah, she's got to see her last year on the range, and you walk by a kid on the range that hits it like that, it kind of gets your attention. And I think they'll be chasing her for sure. But yeah, that boys race should be really, really competitive.
Thank you so much for the time. That's all I needed from you. Wish you best of luck coming up Friday and Saturday.
Appreciate everything you do for the kids, David.